Good morning, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. Today is Wednesday, July 23rd, and the moon is in Cancer. We had an early morning sextile between the sun and Uranus. Sextiles are mentally stimulating. It is about opening the lines of communication. The sun is an energy of illumination, and Uranus is an energy of breakthrough. Now, when Uranus interacts with another planet, often there can be sudden changes, and depending on the nature of the aspect, generally how those changes will happen. Sextiles are not traumatic, if we could say, traumatic aspects. They're more about there's more, and with sextiles there's the energy of sort of it's almost like sextiles to me are the little light bulb that you see in cartoons when somebody goes, oh, like that, like aha. Sextiles bring aha moments. And of course Uranus is the planet of awakening. So we maybe, and it happened early this morning, so perhaps for some of us we have woken up with a new perspective or a new idea that definitely requires some conversation with others to sort of figure out what it is that has come up for us. Now, today we have the Mars and Venus making a square to each other. They have been activating the nodes of the moon. Mars a few days ago conjoined the south node. Venus squared the nodes. They're still around the nodes, and now they make their exact square. This is a first quarter crisis in action square around how we relate to each other. Venus and Mars have a 2-year synodic cycle with each other. This particular synodic cycle began with Venus and Mars conjoined in the sign of Aquarius. And so the seed planted at the initial conjunction of this interaction was one of humanitarianism, a very Aquarian, raising all boats and the like. We come to a point of where we feel the need to take an action. Now, squares are crisis producing, so we can have some crisis within our relationships because it's time for a change. It's time to do it in a different way. Sounds like my neighbor is cutting down some trees in his backyard. I just heard a tree get felled. Oh, that's interesting. As Venus and Mars square each other. The interesting thing about this Venus and Mars square is that Venus is in Gemini and Mars is in Virgo. Gemini and Virgo are Mercury ruled signs, and so they're disposited by Mercury in whatever sign Mercury happens to be in. And Mercury happens to be in Leo, and Mercury also happens to be retrograde, which many of you may already be aware of from your personal experience with how things are working out lately. But this whole idea, there's a lot of going back to the past. So the past relationships are coming up for review. And we certainly see that in the case of the President of the United States and his old BFF, Epstein, who was found guilty for trafficking thousands of young girls. Now, if that's your BFF, my mom would say, you can tell a lot about a person by who they hang out with. Of course, we know that, right? I mean, that's not a thing. We're totally aware. So that stuff isn't going anywhere. The moon in Cancer does make a nice trine to the North Node. So that eases things up a bit with our personal experience. Though, of course, the moon in Cancer, nurturance, children, family, the North Node in Pisces, compassion, imagination, healing. So there is opportunity for healing today. The moon also makes a lovely sextile to Mars. In Virgo, the moon in Cancer Very powerful, the moon in Cancer, because it is the sign that the moon rules. So in its way it works well in Cancer. The sextile to Mars in Virgo will help us to talk about and come up with some perhaps solutions, in order for all of us to feel nurtured. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag today. The major aspects will be challenges within relationships, and perhaps bringing up the past and trying to escape the ghosts of the past and actually resolve some things from the past and the way we relate to one another. This all right before we have this new moon in Leo that's happening tomorrow, and it is chock-a-block full of energy for a number of reasons that I will talk about on Moon Shadows, which I'm going to do with Ona later today. That'll be on this channel, so if you want the skinny on the new moon that's happening tomorrow, you can check that out. That'll probably come out somewhere around early evening, because we're scheduled to do the video the late afternoon today. So all right, guys, that's the story. Morning glories. It's going to be another informative, crazy week. This week is going to seem even crazier than last. So put on your seatbelts, get out your popcorn, because things are going to get interesting. All right, everyone, have a great day. Much love to you all. And I'll see you later today. Namaste.